name is Mandy Daly, and I'm the founder of the Irish Neonatal Health Alliance, which is a collaborative, multi-stakeholder, multidisciplinary platform in Ireland. I have a background in healthcare, and in 2006, I gave birth to my daughter Amelia at 25+6 following a placenta abruption. The INHA was founded out of my preterm journey with my daughter, and 18 years later, we're still living with the legacy of preterm birth, and it informs all aspects of our work in the INHA. Every family who's had a preterm infant wishes for their child to be healthy, happy, independent, socially adept, living life to its fullest and not bear the scars of their early arrival in the world. In order for this to become a reality, we need to unpack the journey that the infant and the family have been on, take a deep dive into every aspect of that journey, and identify those areas where what we do as healthcare professionals directly impacts in a positive sense the outcome of these children we care for, and more importantly, identify those areas where more work needs to be done. Families tell us that they wish they'd known more about the risk factors that contribute towards preterm birth, the signs of pregnancy complications, how to source antenatal psychological support when their pregnancy started to go wrong, and how to prepare themselves better for what lay ahead. Awareness around preterm birth is still lacking, with the topic not forming part of the normal narrative in school education around pregnancy, and rarely forming part of the antenatal consultation discussions in a bid not to scare families. Preterm birth flips the paradigm of parenthood on its axis. It robs families of their hopes, dreams, and expectations, and families often find themselves passive bystanders in an alien environment watching others care for their child. Families struggle to reframe the parenting role they had anticipated. They struggle with their own mixed emotions, and they don't always have access to psychological support to help them navigate the uncertainties of their infant's prognosis, as well as being able to process their own underlying trauma. They juggle learning the language of the neonatal unit, its rules, its schedules, the many new faces, and they're constantly playing catch-up. Preterm birth and the neonatal unit interrupt the natural bonding and attachment process. Not every unit has fully embraced the concept of infant and family-centred developmentally supportive care. We know that care is not standardised across units, messaging can often be inconsistent, and families don't feel a sense of equality, which places them in a vulnerable position when attempting to advocate on behalf of their child. Families require unrestricted access to their infant for the duration of their NICU stay, equality of their role as parents and caregivers, and not be perceived either consciously or unconsciously as visitors, inclusion regardless of cultural background or religious beliefs, education around parenting in the NICU, and the importance of their presence in their child's recovery, shared decision-making around all aspects of care, and empowerment to enable them to continue to care for their child after discharge, especially in the area of supporting neurodevelopment post-discharge. They require acknowledgement of their situation and validation of their emotions and concerns. Every infant is an individual, and everything that happens to an infant in the neonatal unit has an effect, positive, negative, or cumulative. We need a greater focus on individualised care, practicing precision medicine, and addressing the off-label use of drugs. The neonatal unit is a unique environment where families require support and guidance to get to know their infant. What does this look like? We need to be teaching our families to read their infant's behavioural cues, understand their infant's physiological signs, learn about their infant's neurodevelopment, sensory and motor development. Why? The parents at discharge adopt the role of the neonatologist, the NICU nurse, the occupational therapist, the speech and language therapist, physical therapist, the dietitian, and the support network that they've grown accustomed to during their stay in the NICU is suddenly withdrawn, and discharge is reported as being an incredibly stressful time for families. Families continue to support their infant's development in the home setting, but in the absence of appropriate training and education, infants will not reach their developmental potential. Reframing our model of discharge to ensure that families are appropriately equipped with the skills they need to parent beyond the NICU, and developing transition programs which see trained NICU staff visit the family in the home setting for a period of time post-discharge would aid the transition to home and would have a positive impact on outcomes. There are several examples of pilot discharge transition programs, all of which have yielded positive outcomes. Preterm birth does not end at the NICU. Preterm birth is for life. Therefore, the care pathway must reflect this fact. Multidisciplinary, lifelong follow-up will ensure that our preterm community can access and receive the interventions and medical care that they require at the right time, and that their health is protected rather than waiting for deterioration to occur, and then for them to not only incur long delays in accessing the care they require, but often sometimes struggling to have their health-related concerns heard by medical professionals who lack the knowledge about the lifelong impact of preterm birth. In recent times, discussions around the need for a new subspecialty to be developed to manage the health of our adults born preterm has been gaining momentum. Families are often ill-prepared to recognise and address the lifelong effects of preterm birth. Community-based education and healthcare professionals often lack the essential knowledge required to manage a next preterm infant in both the education and healthcare settings. And this, as you can imagine, adversely affects not only the life of the ex-preterm infant, as they struggle to comprehend their health, educational, development and behavioural challenges, but also the family as a whole, who may lack the knowledge, insight and support to advocate on behalf of their child. Numerous longitudinal studies have demonstrated the many domains that are compromised in adults who are born preterm, yet there's a disconnect between the research that has demonstrated and what families know and services available to adults born preterm. In the absence of lifelong follow-up, we're missing this opportunity to learn more about the effects of preterm birth, how it impacts the lives of those born preterm, those effects that impact them the most, how better we can serve this community by ensuring that all care is delivered through the lens of brain care from day one in the neonatal unit, that families are supported throughout their journey, and that services are developed and delivered informed by those affected by preterm birth rather than for them. Survival can no longer be the goal of the work we do. We must strive to ensure that the care delivered to every preterm infant supports them and their families to thrive. So in conclusion, if I were asked to select 2 items from the many topics discussed during this presentation that would benefit families the most, it would be that all care is brain care and that preterm birth is for life. If we place both of our needs at the heart of the care that we deliver, our preterm community and the families would benefit enormously. Thank you.